Global economic crisis is underway. My top 6 reasons. Before I get into this, however, though, I want to just say and be crystal clear on 2 different things. One is that I think all this stuff here is actually a tremendous opportunity for people educated and know what they're doing. I look to people like Jim Rogers, John Malden, Rick Rule, Doug Casey, what are often referred to as downturn millionaires and or billionaires. And the video that I did yesterday covering all the other billionaires that are making huge moves right now into different asset classes. I don't know which one suits you best. It's your decision to make. But the bottom line is that I don't want people to look at this and say it's doom and gloom or it's, fear porn, as somebody was saying yesterday. My response to that was, I don't know about any porn that's based on historical precedent, but, then again, I wouldn't know. But here's the bottom line, is that there are reasons right now that are not even related to the economy that point to we are in an economic crisis or that one is underway. Most of them are social issues, which I think is pretty interesting. I had 2 reasons I was going to give you. The first of which is this is opportunity. The second is the timing. Look, I don't know the timing. Are there people on YouTube that have been talking about economic collapse 5, 6, 7 years ago? Yes. I mean, I started my videos, I think, about 3 years ago, maybe 2.5. And, some can make the argument, and I think successfully, a collapse has already happened. But with all the money printing and everything else, it's just keeping things propped up and what the ETB cards are really the EBT cards are really the new electronic breadlines, if you will. Looking back in history, we could say that we're already going through this stuff. It's just we have a world reserve currency and the government's able to print all kinds of money. Eventually that'll stop too, and then the real effects will be felt. But I don't know on timing. I think we still have time. I think there's still 2 to 4 years, perhaps longer. I don't know, but it could be next week. Anything could happen. There could be Black Swans events, whatever. Until then, live your life to the fullest. Go out, turn a profit. Be the best you can be. That's my advice, and that's my recommendation. But let's deal with reality, or at least the reality of the economy, of course, making the differentiating between your own personal economy and the global economy. There's always a big difference. But reason number 1 is, of course, dollar devaluation, quantitative easing, the gold laws that just passed in Bitcoin. But dollar devaluation, I mean, look, if the economy was doing really good, you wouldn't have countries around the world, Japan, the Chinese, UK, US, debasing their currency. Things would be going good. They wouldn't need to stimulate the economy, so they wouldn't be printing. In the case of the Federal Reserve, their balance sheet has gone from approximately $800 billion to close to, by the end of this year, $4 trillion in just created money out of thin air. I mean, that's pretty extraordinary. The gold laws. I don't think U.S. states like Utah, now Arizona, a few other that are in the mix, would be passing laws allowing gold and silver to be legal tender. Now in Arizona or in Utah, I could walk in and I could use this to buy food, buy whatever. If they had faith in the dollar, they wouldn't be doing that. If there was faith in the dollar or in other currencies, you wouldn't have alternative currencies like Bitcoin coming up. Now, a lot of people have been asking me about my opinion about Bitcoin. I'll get to that in another video. But nonetheless, regardless of what you think about it, there's already competing currencies, or at least people are trying that. The free market's trying that. Whether or not it's successful, who's to say? With this government, doubtful, but nonetheless. So all these point to the fact that there's a loss of confidence in the dollar, in the world reserve currency, in other currencies. Regarding gold laws, Chicago now wants to register people who sell gold, dealers, to register who their clients are. Why would they want to do that unless there's confiscation like there was in the past, which, you could say it wasn't confiscation because they did pay you, but shortly after they bought the gold, they increased the FDR jacked up the price. Well, it is important to note that only about 25% of Americans actually turned in their gold. I mean, if someone had me today said, hey, Fabian, turn in your gold, I'd be like, screw you. I'd hide it. I'd do whatever. They wouldn't get it. Most people, I think, would do the same thing. Number 2, the gun debate laws. Trust me, this has nothing to do with the kids or anything else. This is all about fear from government that too many of us have too many guns. In fact, I think the stat was the other day that I saw that since Obama's been in office, 32 guns are sold, I think, for every minute has been president. I mean, that is an extraordinary number. He's one of the best gun salesmen I think I've ever met, the world's ever known. But the gun laws and the gun law debate, which started today in Washington, isn't about keeping people safe. It's about the economy. Things deteriorate and really get bad. The government wants to be able to control and lock stuff down. They don't want people to be able to defend themselves against tyranny, against whatever it may be. Of course, we have a Second Amendment right to defend ourselves from a tyrannical government. It's not for duck hunting, and it certainly isn't for freaking sport shooting, okay? Number three, it is the IRS and Department of Homeland Security in the Utah data center. Let me ask you, if things are all rosy with the economy, if we're in a great recovery, then why does the IRS want to be able to just, without a warrant, be able to search your email and just basically, no problem? Now they're searching Facebook accounts. The Department of Homeland Security is shutting down protests. If people have an organization about an end the Fed rally, they're monitoring Facebook for this. They're also stocking up on tanks, bullets. I mean, you name it. Why would they be doing this? Janet Napolitano says it's because, they want to buy in bulk to save money. Since when the hell has the federal government cared about saving any money whatsoever or trying to be a good custodian of your tax dollars? That's total BS. The Utah data center, no one talks about this. I mean, the fact that now the media ignores this and that they are able to track everything you do, and so are these agencies, without a warrant. I mean, literally, the Fourth Amendment rights that we have as Americans are gonzo, and no one seems to give a rat's ass. Number 4, I talked about this yesterday. I won't get too much into it, but the actions and investments of the billionaire investors. I mean, I didn't get into the Rothschilds and all the other people yesterday, or the Rockefellers and what have you. But interestingly, though, the Rockefellers, the Ford Foundation, they're making big moves into controlling the political landscape, if you will, and setting up the class warfare, because they know that there's going to be a play here for there being an authoritarian state, because we're either going to go to liberty, more liberty, or liberty, or we're going to go to a bigger authoritarian state. And those institutions and those wealth funds, if you will, they're pushing and promoting class warfare and basically redistribution of wealth. That's what they're aiming for. That's a sign. But I'm talking here about people like Soros, people like all the other people that I named the other day, Paulson, all the others, that are buying gold and real estate. I mean, again, it's not so much about them looking during times like these to make extraordinary returns, although many of them continue to, but it's also about preserving their capital and not losing money. And these guys are doing that in gold and silver instead of, new ventures or whatever it may be, although some are doing it with new ventures. Number 5, central banks and their actions, buying record amounts of gold. The same people that make fun of gold say it's a barbaric relic, say you're a conspiracy theorist if you own gold or want to buy gold. The IMF crafting the policy, if you will, of we're going to raid bank accounts in Cyprus. And that's the blueprint for what they're going to do in other bank accounts as well. The actions of the Chinese, which covers this next point here. The actions of the Chinese setting up bilateral trade agreements, trying to strengthen their own region because they know the dominoes are going to fall and the world reserve currency will fall. And whether or not they emerge with the new world reserve currency, there's going to be a period of like a reset that's going to be a big struggle for all of these countries. And then finally, the BRIC countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These countries, again, they're setting up their own like little union because they know, hey, tough times are ahead. We should pull our resources together outside of the West, Europe and the US, and see if we can overcome this and basically have a better standard of living for our countries and everything else. And the last one, probably one of the most important ones, is all of the nationalism that's happening. Really, I could have said war as well, or skirmishes, however you want to call it. But I mean, look at Just last year, China and Japan, the nationalism over that. China's economy is slowing down. Japan's economy is on the brink. These countries are, stoking the flames of just nationalism because when economies fail, that's what people do. That's what they'll do here with class warfare, what have you. North Korea, Iran, that situation, the potential war breaking out in nuclear weapons. What's happening with Syria? Argentina, whose economy, again, is on the brink. Inflation's beginning to run rapid. You would have thought they would have learned that they have a president who's totally clueless about anything to do with free market economics. She's trying to, stoke up nationalism over the Falkland Islands in the UK. UK obviously obliterated them in the 80s over the Falkland Islands. It would happen again. And then take a look at Greece with the Nazis and Golden Dawn, the epitome of nationalism. This ideology is beginning to spread throughout certain parts of Europe. And again, all this has to do with the economy. So I don't even really need to cover things about the economy. I don't need to even talk about monetary policy. I don't necessarily need to even talk about the stock market or any of that. National debt, entitlements, all of that. I can just get into a lot of other issues, and the actions of the government clearly state to me economic crisis is underway. Check out Fabian for Liberty. Share this video on social media if you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. I'm out.